Hi, welcome to Nina in the Kitchen, where today I'm making a Pugliese focaccia, meaning it's a focaccia, which is an Italian flatbread, and it comes from the Puglia area of Italy, which is the heel of the boot. They use potato in their bread, and what potato does is it tenderizes bread, it gives it a moisture, it makes it soft, and if you use a starchy potato, which you should, it actually gives it a little sweetness. So here's what you want to do. I boiled one medium potato, which is 8 ounces, which is about 230 grams. So I'm putting it through a ricer. You don't have to put it through a ricer, but you can use a fork to mash it. What you want to do, though, is just make sure that, that there are no lumps in it. You could use a food mill for this. It's a russet potato, which is a baking potato. So it has a good amount of starch in it. And what I did was I kept 1 cup of the water that's going to be used in the bread. And in here, I have 3.5 cups or 437 grams of all-purpose flour, which you may know as plain flour. This is 1 cup of potato water, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. That can go right in. Yeast and potato love each other, and I think that's part of why this ends up tasting so good. This is 1.5 teaspoons of instant yeast. And I like instant because you can just put it right in the dry ingredients. Instant yeast is also known as bread machine yeast. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these potatoes in here. I put salt around the edge of the bowl. And then I'm just putting this on stir while I add the water. And when it looks about like this, you can see there's some dry, but scrape everything up from the bottom of the bowl. I'm just going to let this go on medium speed for 5 minutes, and that will knead it. Okay, so that's 5 minutes. What I have here is a large bowl with a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. And what I do is I take my hand. This is the perfect amount of flour that is in this bowl with the dough. So I don't want to add any more flour to that. So what I do is I now take my now oiled hand and I'll remove the dough from the dough hook and from this bowl with an oiled hand. That way I don't have to add any more flour to this. Just transfer that into the oiled bowl, and then you want to take it and flip it over. So you oil one side, put it in the bowl, flip it, and just let this rise. Now both sides are oiled. I'm just going to cover this with some plastic wrap. Put this in a warm place in your kitchen. Poke a few holes in the top just so it can breathe a little bit. And you let this rise for about an hour, and we'll come back after that and shape it. Well, this has doubled in size, and at this point, you have choices. You can use one of these half-sheet pans. This will yield one of these, so you can make a large focaccia for yourself to go with this, because I want to show you 2 different things that you can do with focaccia. The first thing I'm going to do is oil these pans. You want focaccia to be well oiled on the bottom, on the top. That's what helps to crisp this up. And these are dark pans, so this is going to get brown on the bottom rather quickly. If you use a light pan in your oven, it won't happen as fast. So I'm putting those off to the side. And what you can do is take your dough and weigh this out. So that is 992 grams. I have 494 grams. I'm going to take it. I don't think I could get that close again. So what you do is I'm going to just sort of shape this loosely and put it in one pan and put that off to the side. Now, if your dough wants to come back on you like this, just let it sit for about 15 minutes and it should kind of relax and you should be able to do what you want. This other piece of dough, and this is what I wanted to show you. You know, focaccia a lot of the time will have dimpling on top of the dough, which this will, and we can put things on top of the dough. But another way to go is to put something inside of the dough. And what I'm using today is muffaletta, which is an olive salad. Not quite a tamponade, it's a little rougher chop than that. And I have some thyme, just a nice fresh flavor of thyme. So there goes some of the muffaletta. And I'm going to knead this into this dough. Now we have one focaccia that is flavored from the inside, and we can even still do toppings on that. And then this other one will just have toppings. What I'm going to do now is cover these again and put them aside in about 45 minutes to an hour. So when we come back, they'll be doubled in size, and then we just have to pop them into the oven. I'm going to preheat the oven. That will be 425 or 215 Celsius. So we're back. These are puffy now, and they're ready to go into the oven. I covered one just with a pot lid, and you can see this little bubble here, how delicate that is. That's a good sign. This is going to be a really nice bread. So what you want to do is you take 3 fingers, 2 or 3 fingers, and you just poke little divots in this bread. And then you want to pour olive oil over it. And into those little pockets go the oil. Next up, I'm putting just a little bit of this on top, a little bit of this muffaletta. Make sure it goes into those holes. And as you can see, this is just a finely chopped olive. It smells good already. I love yeast breads. This will bake for about 25 minutes or so. I'll start watching it at about 20, and I'll see when they come out. These just came out of the oven, and I'm just going to put them right on this rack. They just have to cool for a few minutes, probably about 10 minutes or so, because you do want to serve these warm. Another thing you can do is cool these completely, wrap them in plastic and then foil, and then freeze them. And whenever you want one, you just take it out. You can put it in your oven at 325 for maybe 15 minutes until it gets nice and warm and toasty and delicious, and you'll never know that it was in the freezer. I'll see you when these are cooled down, and we'll cut into them. This is the focaccia that has the muffaletta in it. I just wanted to cut into that, and oh, it smells so good. But this is the crumb. It's soft and moist and so flavorful. It's really delicious. Let's cut into this other one. I have a feeling this one will be even a little more open. Yeah, see the pattern on this? It's more open than the other one. The crumb's tight, not as tight. But anyway, wow. The olives in this just really comes through. That's really delicious. I hope you try this. You know, you could make great sandwiches with this. Everything's built into it. The flavor's all there. So whatever leftover you have from the dinner table, you can absolutely make sandwiches and throw things on top of it and have pizza. And anyway, I hope you try this recipe. It's really delicious. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back. Bye, guys.